Hey campers, Georgia, back in the man cave. Got me a new marbles. Yep, cotton sampler. Cool blade. Let's check it out. Here it is right here. It's the Marbles G-10 orange cotton sampler pocket knife. See that? Very cool. I like this G10. Of course, the blade is very unusual. Look at that. Pretty cool looking knife. And that blade is unusual. We'll talk about that some more. But let's have a quick look at the specs. So this is from their G10 orange series. They have a couple of different knives, and I think I did one before. This one here, I think. I'm getting old. I can't remember what I did yesterday. Okay, an hour ago. What can I say? Anyway, here it is here. And you can see there's that bright orange. It's the new updated version from Marbles on a traditional pocket knife. Now, the cotton sampler, not very common and not that well known. I've looked at one before, and this one here, I believe. And it got my attention simply because of the name and the blade style. Well, when you look at this guy here, you got the orange G10 scales on it. And as you can see, the bolsters here are actually G10. And a nice thing they did was the liner is the G10 as well, which gives it a pretty cool look. When you look at it, it does have the black solid badge here. You can see that there. And overall, it's very, very clean. I'm looking here at the liners, at the ends here, where there's, for some reason, Marbles has real problems at the ends here, but these are really clean. And you can see that. Look at those liners. Beautiful. No gaps, no nothing. Very well made. I really like this. Unusual thing as well is that they put a lanyard hole. And you can see it has a brass tube in there, which is going to save it. It's going to last a little bit longer. It's a nice little touch to it. Most people probably wouldn't even use that. This is going to go in your pocket. You can see it's pretty thin, very smooth, very nice, very clean. Nothing sticking up. And then, of course, you've got the blade, which is the whole point of the knife. By the way, it does have that half stop. Now, this is a slip joint, so it doesn't lock. Now, you know me, anything sharp and shiny will cut me if I don't pay attention, so I prefer to have a locking knife. But this slip joint, listen to this, it's in there solid. Look at that. It takes quite a lot, and you can see the spring on the back there lifting up. Show you that there. See if I can show it to you. See it there? And it's solid in there. It's a nice, hard, solid spring. And then, of course, the half stop, same thing again. And when you click it closed, listen to it. It snaps in there. Very well done. I like that. Makes me feel a little bit better. Anyway, back to the blade. Let's have a look-see at that blade. And here you can see it here. Very unusual blade. Now, in the description, which kind of surprised me because I couldn't really figure out what is the blade shape. They actually say it's a drop point. And if you look carefully at it, you can see why they're saying that. It comes across here and then drops off to this point right there where you have the blade edge here. The spine drops off right into that nice sharp point. And then you have this deep belly. And of course on the blade there it does say Marbles. See that? Very nice. Very pretty. Like that. Marbles quality knives. And then of course it has the model number there. You can see that. Let's get that there. There it is there. And on the other side it says Marbles. And it's a nice blade. It is stainless steel. And it's a mirror polished stainless steel. And it's 440A stainless steel. So, which is typical for all their traditional knives. And although this is the modern one, they stayed with the 440A. and nothing wrong with that. Now, if you look at this, it's got this huge deep belly here, and then it comes around here, you've got this flat piece, and then it hits the ricasso, and you can see it comes here right to the ricasso, and it's got this flat piece in it here. It's almost like a choil, which tells you where the end of the cutting edge is, but it's huge. If you look at a normal choil, it's just normally a little half moon type thing on it. And of course it has that nail notch here, the nail clip, and it has that match strike on it, which is an old tradition that they've kept. Very nice knife. I like this knife, and having read up on the cotton sampler before, I was like, what's the point of this blade? No pun intended. But the reason this blade is shaped like this is that back in the day, when you had people who were buying cotton, they would go into the warehouses and you had these huge bales of cotton, and they wanted to check before they bought a bale the consistency of the cotton. So the idea was you had this point which you could dig into the bale, the covering, which was like a Hessian covering. You could poke a hole in it, open it up a bit, and then the width of this blade acted as kind of like a spoon where they would dig into it, they could pull a sample out, feel it, check it, look at it, that sort of thing. And that was the whole reason for the blade shape. But they don't need this anymore. People still carry them. And the reason is the blade shape. It has this sharp point on, so you've got something you can poke with. And then it has this wide, very wide sweeping cutting edge. See that there? Yeah. If you're a hunter and you are hunting small game, squirrels, rabbits, that sort of thing, this is a great skinner for that. It would probably work on even bigger game. The shape, you've got that point, you poke in, and then you can skin your game. So it does still have a use today. As an everyday carrier, I would say more outdoorish. You're not wanting to batten this thing. It is a folder, not designed for that. But for your general everyday outdoor working stuff or hunting, this would be very popular. I would carry this probably fishing, on a walkabout, that sort of thing. It'll do a lot of things. The blade, it feels sharp. The grind is a little bit off. And if you look there, you can see the shiny part here. It's deeper here, and it gets a little thin on the top there and then widens up again. Right on that bulge there, it gets a little thin. Is that a problem? I think if you're going to use it as skinner, you'll go and want to clean that up and get it a little bit more consistent and get a sharpened edge, strop it, give you a nice sharp edge. It does have on, if you look at the spine here, you can see here it has that false blade. It gets a little thinner. You see that in the front there? That is so that when they bring it to this point here, you have a much sharp, you can bring it to a nice sharp point. Now I'm looking at this blade, and they didn't sharpen the blade very well. In fact, it's way off. If you look at it, it looks a little flat there. The grind kind of dies away. That should be a lot tighter. And what this false blade, or the swedge is what a lot of people call it, is designed to do is allow you to bring it into a nice sharp point. I didn't notice that before, and that grind is way off on that tip. I'll see if I can. You see that almost looks flat there. The edge of the blade kind of moves, and you've got a sharper, deeper side and a shorter side. So that would have to be cleaned up. But the whole point, like I said, of that false blade is to give you that nice sharp point. Now it is a 3-inch blade. That's what they say. Now, let's measure it and see what the length. Are they talking about the whole length, which I suspect they are, all the way to the handle, not just the cutting edge? So, yeah, they're talking from the tip to the bolster is 3 inches. Nice blade. I mean, it obviously the cutting edge is not 3 inches. You can see it's a lot shorter here. You can have a look, see here. Just a little bit under 2 inches, the actual clean cutting edge before it gets to that flat spot. And I suspect the flat spot is so that you can put your finger there and dig in. It's just helped. It feels extremely light. And I suspect it's because of the G-10 handle. This stuff is really light, really nice. It's got a little bit of rough stuff on it if you look carefully, but not a lot. You see that? Can you see that in the light there? But it's still very smooth. It doesn't have a good grip. And I don't think you really need a good grip for it. So you got your 3-inch blade. The width of the blade, 0.11 of an inch. Pretty thin. And they talking here. It gets thinner, obviously, with that switch. I really like the way this thing closed. They really did a good job on the slip joint on this. The overall close length, 4.12 inches. So it's pretty standard. You can see it in my hand, and I've got a wide grubby. So it's a nice size. It fits in my hand nicely, and you can see it there. Sits in there very nicely. Just the blade sticking out, a little bit out the end here. So very nice. I like it. The marbles, G10 series, the orange series, cotton sampler. The model number is the MR597. If you're interested, you can go to Smoky Mountain or Chicago Knife or wherever you go and get your folders that carry marbles. That's the model number you want to look at. How much did I pay for this? You sitting down? Yeah. How much? Yeah. Good deal. It was discounted. It's normally around about $12. I got it for $9.99. You know, another reason I got it. Another reason I like marbles. Their prices are reasonable for the quality you get. And this G10, that's very nice. You know, it's modern. It's up to date. Just like all the other guys. Rough Riders doing the same thing. They're going with the modern look, with the different handles and different styles. It's growing on me. As traditional as I am, it's still growing on me. I wonder how sharp it really is. Even with that point problem. Let's see. So, let's just slice down. Yeah, it does it, but it's certainly not as good as they normally do. You know, normally Marbles and Rough Rider, those two guys, they do a pretty good job, but this is very poor. You can see it. Look at that. Look how I tore it down here. You know, this even that's very rough. So maybe I'll give it a quick strop. I'm just gonna put some good stuff on it. This strop actually was given to me. It's very nice. I like it. I kind of mess it up a little bit here, but it still works. I did put another piece on the other side here, and this I want to use for Lacey's diamond juice that she has. I'm not going to do that right now. I want to redo the blade. Right now, I just want to strop it and see if it'll make the difference. Yeah, look at me, stropping and whatnot. Go back and forth a little bit on it. And just do the same thing on this side. I'm not worried about the point as much as the getting up there on the depth of that, on that belly. Let's see if that helped. Probably not. I'm not very good at this. So, no. In fact, it got worse. Oh no, George, what have you done? Yeah, well, that's better. Oh yeah, it's much cleaner. Just with that really quick stropping, you can see it did improve it a little bit, not a lot. And don't be fooled. It's not the stropping that messed it up, it was me. I'm just not very good at this. And, you know, I need to practice more. I need to just pull all my knives out. And I've got enough to practice for about 4 years and see if I can fix it. It certainly needs to be cleaned up. But I actually want to really resharpen it and strop it again, I think. Because they didn't do a very good job. It's kind of disappointing from Marbles. Normally they do a good job. The last one I looked at was razor sharp. You saw how much it cost. You can't beat that. And it is a pretty cool looking knife. Come on, look at that blade. Good talking point. what can I say? Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Pretty sure I'll be back again. Got a couple of knives, couple of things going on. And look at me. I'm all over the carving thing. I made me a spoon. I'm in the middle of doing it, and it's something that I've been working on for about, I don't know, weeks. And every now and again, I just stop by, and I started off with a big piece of wood. I had to whittle it all the way down. I didn't want to cheat and cut it off, and then I just used the knife and whittled all the way down and cleaned it up and got it small, and eventually got it down to the size that I want. And it was fun. This was actually a piece of basswood that we found on Will's property when we went on a winter walkabout. So probably going to go ice fishing again. I'm really getting into that. I really kind of like that. It's certainly not fly fishing for me. Nothing for me will beat fly fishing. I'm an addict for that. I'm terrible at it, but I love doing it. Self-taught, you know the story. The orange G-10 series. Very nice. And for $9, well, $10. Can't beat that with one of my big sticks. I've got so many things going on, it's scary. But you will be safe out there, especially with these sharp and shinies. Thanks for watching. You take care. Bye.